I'm Tom Bassel.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Merry Christmas, that's Sam Healy.
I'm Sam Healy.
He freezes up every now and then. He's like an old piece.
Comrades. Happy Christmas.
All right, so today
It's so weird.
In Mother Russia, Christmas celebrates you.
All right, fantastic. So we're talking about strategy games today, and these are games that, if you're looking for more than just, maybe some more thought goes into these games than others. You're trying to use strategy and tactics to outthink the other players at the table. I think they're all out. I don't think we got any cooperative games on here. All right, well, let's get started. What do you got for us?
All right, and again, these games are all available or should be available right now. They should be in print.
Oh, yeah.
And you should be able to find them at Cool Stuff Inc., for example, who is our sponsor. So my number one pick is Via Nebula. Via Nebula here is a game in which you are exploring the sort of fantasy-ish world, which is populated by pigs, and you have wheat, and you have lumber, and you have stone, and you're trying to gather these resources spread out around this little world, bring them back to where you need to use them, and then build up your little castles there. Try to do that the most efficiently, and you win the game. The game's got a really interesting aspect to it, in which you are deciding where these things show up. Like, oh, there's going to be a bunch of piggies over here. Boom. But you have to be careful because those things are available to all of your opponents as well. As soon as they pop up on the board,
Right.
You decide where they're going to go. But, you are inadvertently sort of helping other people if you're not careful. And that's what I find so very interesting about it. It's a game of balancing helping yourself and not helping everybody else too much. Clever, quick, very interesting Martin Wallace game, who is not even a designer I typically enjoy, but he knocked it out of the park with this game. Via Nebula is gorgeous and highly strategic.
My first game in this category is a brand new game that just came out called Inis. And Inis is a strategy game where there are basically three ways that you can win the game, but you only have to take care of one of those. As long as you're the only one that is finishing any of those victory conditions. But the thing is more than likely, if you're getting one of them, somebody else is getting a different one of them, and so forth and so on. So you have to use clever card play. There is a card drafting mechanism in it as well. Dudes on a board, area control type stuff in there as well. The board is absolutely amazing. It has a kind of a freaky look to it because it has these weird shaped pieces that puzzle together. Really an interesting looking game. And a very popular artist actually contributed the art to the game as well, for a Celtic artist, that is. So just a lot of things that were firing very much on this game for me, and I hope that will for you too. Give it a look. Inis by Matago.
We mentioned a new game. I'm going to mention an old game that just had a facelift, and that's Dominion. The second edition just came out. Dominion, the second edition is actually pretty different than the first, where they took 6 cards out of the original and added 7 new. I guess it's one better than the original, but it doesn't really matter which version of Dominion you have. Dominion is a deck building game. If you never played one of these, it's a game in which you are building your own deck as the game progresses. You are buying cards from the middle, sticking them in your discard pile, and eventually reshuffling it. And you want cards that do amazing things, but you also want victory points, which don't do anything, but they're how you win. So you have to decide when to start buying victory point cards to help you win without messing your deck or clogging it up. Lots of cool decisions, and this game came out, I think, 8 years ago, but it's still going strong. That's Dominion, also the second edition, which I highly recommend.
All right. I think there are not enough games out there that put you in the shoes of a super spy, traveling the world, discovering things, going after other super spies. And the ones that are out there tend to be little card games, little simple card games. And so Covert is one that immediately, just based on that theme alone, got on my radar. And once I played it, and then played it some more, and then played it some more, it definitely stayed there. The first impression's a little bit like, what am I doing? This is a little strange. But the more you play it, and especially if you play with 2 players, fantastic 2 players, I think you're really going to dig it. You are breaking codes, you are finding items, you are using those items and turning them around to gather up victory points. You are leaving clues behind you as you are traveling through Europe. Clever, interesting, very nice graphic design on this game from Renegade Game Studios. And so I recommend it very much, especially, as I said, if you like that super spy theme. That is Covert.
Cry havoc and let's slip the dogs of war.
Except for the last 6 words, but yes.
Yes, Cry Havoc is my next pick for this category. And I don't know, you're counting the words.
It's 7 words. That was
7.
close.
You're so close. Anyway, Cry Havoc, and there are 4 factions in the game, and they are all interested in this one planet for different reasons. First of all, the Trogs. This is their home planet. They want everybody else to get out of town. The Machines are just interested in killing all living
Destroy
material.
all humans.
That's right. And then there are humans who are wanting to come to this planet because they've heard of all of the natural resources that it has. And they're going to exploit the planet as
This
much
is
as
starting to
possible.
sound familiar.
And then there are the Pilgrims who are just kind of weird. Don't know why they're there.
That's correct.
They're just there, and they're just mixing it up just like
Looking for
everybody else.
extra arms. They've already got 4.
They already have 4. They want
need
an
some
extra
more.
set, maybe. I don't know. But it's a really cool area control game that has a lot of really neat card play in it as well. The battle system it's an acquired taste, but it tastes
amazing.
good after you acquire it. It's just one of those things that's like you kind of scratch your head. I'm doing what now? But after
What?
a couple games, it makes a whole lot of sense. It's really, I wouldn't say it's innovative, although I haven't seen that kind of system used before in another game. Maybe you guys.
I feel
It's
it's
highly asymmetrical, that's for sure.
Yes, it is. A very asymmetrical game. Each faction plays completely differently than the other. So it's a really cool game from Portal. Cry Havoc. Go give it a whirl.
All right. Z mentioned spies. Let me tell you about a better spy game than the one he mentioned.
One-upsmanship,
I'm
man.
gonna let slip the dogs of war.
Can't say that. All right. And anyway, it's City of Spies, Estoril 1941. This is in the days around the beginning of World War II, and you have different spies, and this is all about taking each other out, almost like spy versus spy. Not as silly as that, though, but
Right.
you're placing spies in different areas. Having the most spies in an area is going to get you points and the benefits. That each spy has different abilities. You'll acquire spies of different nationalities. It's just this whole intrigue and moving around and moving pieces. I think it has a pretty cool theme, but just trying to outthink each other and where you place things is really cool. That's City of Spies, Estoril, 1941.
All right, my next pick is Evolution Climate. And now Evolution's a game that's been out for a few years now. But this Evolution Climate game is one that incorporated an expansion called Climate, appropriately enough, into the game. You can buy the whole thing in a single big box now if you happen to not have the original Evolution. And in the game, you are building out species in front of you. You are trying to have them survive different climate changes. Try to have them survive other species, perhaps becoming carnivores and attacking your species. Or maybe, hey, you want to be the carnivore, the big alpha, and take down other species. You are going to be gathering food from the watering hole, taking that food and scoring it in your little bag, and hopefully at the end of the game, you've got the most victory points. It's a very interesting looking game, gorgeous, basically a card game. It's all card driven, but with a very interesting theme and sort of an interesting combos of cards. The way cards interact with one another are very cool. You know, the way that everything sort of plugs in together. You know, you can shut down other species from coming and bothering you or attacking you depending on what you do to the species in front of yourself. You can make them bigger, you can grow the herds, lots of different things. Like it very much. Evolution Climate, definitely look into that one.
My next pick for this category is a game called Small World. Now, Small World is a older game that is still around and readily available. Has a lot of expansions that are out as well, and some big box expansions. You could probably stay away from the big box expansions on the first few steps, but some of those other ones you can just pick and choose. You don't need them to play the game, but they do enhance the quality of the game a little bit. Now, Small World is a game where you're basically taking your stack of tiles that represent your troops of the faction that you've chosen,
Skeleton.
and you are trying to
Happy skeleton.
copy You guys are messing me up. Shut up. You're trying to you're trying to take over as many areas on the board as possible. Shut up. Anyway, the cool thing about the game, as far as I'm concerned, is the different kinds of factions that can come up, because you have a list of races that can be, like these guys were saying, gnomes,
I haven't said anything.
barbarians, skeletons, and hobbits, and elves, and all these different kinds of things. But there's also a bunch of different things that you can add to them, and the mix is different every single game. So all these different combinations can come up, and they're comical as all get out. So it's a really fun game. A lot of comedy, a lot of laughter. Really enjoy the game. Small World. Give it a whirl. Now you can speak.
Royals, which makes people think of a song these days. Royals is an area control game, having the most of anything. And in this game, you're trying to control different royal people throughout Europe. You want to control the princesses and the kings and the dukes, and I forget all the different people who are in this game. You're trying to control them all.
Swine.
The counts and... Shut up! Did you hear him earlier?
See, you did it too.
So anyhow, in this game, you're playing cards to put different things out and grab different things. You want to have the most of the different kinds of people. You want to have the most in different areas. You want to have the most... There's just all different things you want to get, but it's a very simple, easy game. Collect cards, play the cards, put out the things, collect, and at the end of the game, you just have this big pile of tokens. You add them all together, and whoever has most points wins. Very simple game, but there's a lot of depth, and I think it scales really well, too. I really enjoy it. That's Royals.
Cool. I tend to not like city building games pretty much at all, but this is one.
Disgusts me.
Yeah. But this is one I really enjoy, and Quadropolis is that game. In Quadropolis, you are going to be drafting, grabbing tiles and then placing them in your city somewhere. Depending on the token you used to acquire it, also dictates where it goes in your own player board. And each one is going to score differently. So you want parks next to something else, and you want residences next to parks, and you want the harbors and the ports somewhere else. Everything has sort of a way in which you want it to score. And you're trying to keep all those balls in the air at the same time, while, of course, running out of space on your board very quickly. Play a couple of rounds, you score them up, you see who wins. I like it a lot. It's very pretty. It's from Days of Wonder, so you know you're going to get a quality production, And I think they really knocked it out of the park with this one. Straightforward, attractive, but interesting. And right in the box, in fact, you can get the sort of family version. And then they have what they call an expert mode right in there. So you flip your boards over, and now you're playing something that's going to give you a little bit more of a challenge. So that's Quadropolis, and I very much recommend it if you want that city building vibe in your game.
It's a really good game.
All right, my last pick for this category is a game called Tyrants of the Underdark. Now, this is a game that has the D&D universe in it, where each player is taking a different faction of drow. Those are the dark elves, and they are vying for control in the underworld. And it's a really neat combination of an area control mechanism on the board, because you are moving your forces around. There's an indigenous peoples that you have to also conquer on top of the other opponents of the game. Then that is mixed with a deck building mechanism, where you have different cards that you're playing out of your hand that enable you to do different things on the board or mess with your opponents a little bit here and there. But on top of that, there's another thing where you can actually promote cards out of your deck and have them just score you more points at the end of the game. So there has a lot of really neat things going on. The production quality is good, probably not the best, but I think the gameplay really outshines the production quality. So I'm able to accept the lack of, say, miniatures in this game, because the gameplay is good. So that is Tyrants of the Underdark.
All right, and we're going to end this list with Citadels. Citadels is it's a game. You're right. This game is being reprinted. It may be out by the time of this video, or it's going to come out very soon. It's a game in which there's a bunch of different roles in this game, king and assassin and different things, and you pass them around, and I'm going to be this person. But no one knows who anybody else is until we reveal it, do the actions of that player, and slowly build a city in front of us. a really entertaining game. It's fun to try to outthink what the other players are going to
Yeah.
pick. Each person that you pick kind of lets you do something different than everything else. It has a different feel to it. Very easy to get into. Supports up to 7 players, so there's a lot going on. I highly recommend checking it out. Citadels. And that is our strategy games. So check out the end of the video to find the links to our other 12 games of Christmas. But I guess we're going to end here. So until
Yep.
then, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Thank you for tuning in.
Sam Healy. See you on the flip side, y'all.
We wish you a gamey Christmas. We wish you a